All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a dash of pop. This is where we talk about all the fun things, pop culture. We've talked about superheroes. We've talked about, DC Comics, Marvel Comics. We've had 80s. We've had Star Wars. Well, tonight we're going to be talking to our good friend Tyshawn Smith. I've known him from the military well over 20 years. We went to school together as well in college and things like that. So I'm going to be glad to be bringing him on here in a minute. But tonight's show is about tabletop games, RPGs, Dungeons and Dragons, whatever, all that good stuff that has been making a resurgence lately on the shelves, on TV, on YouTube, Twitch, you name it. There's people out there playing it all over again and reliving it like it's the first time. So I'm going to be bringing him on. We'll be talking some different things, but it's going to be fun to get his perspective on that. So I'll be bringing him up here in just a moment. If he's watching, Ty, if you're watching, just shoot me a request. I want to thank everybody else that's come out for the shows lately. And remember, tonight, if you're watching, you got to be a live viewer. You will get a chance to win the Texas Roadhouse $25 gift certificate. So we'll be giving away that sometime during the show. So Ty, if you're out there, just jump on, shoot me a request. Make sure your phone's turned long ways, and we'll get started. So again, want to thank everybody that came out or that watched the last couple episodes. We've had a lot of people on this week. This month is jam packed full of people. Tomorrow night I have another show, so I hope you'll be able to come out tomorrow night with Carla, another friend of mine from school that we'll be talking to. I've got Peyton, a friend of mine, going to be talking this week. We got a lot of great guests still coming up, so can't wait to talk to them. In the meantime, if there's anything that you want to pop up and ask or any questions during the show, feel free to jump into the comments section. We'll answer your questions when we can. But other than that, just waiting for him to jump on and we'll get going. If there's any shows that you want to see, as far as Dash of Pop, Dash of Life go, please let me know. Love to hear what kind of ideas that you guys want to talk about. If there's anything specific, any person you want to see specific, I'll try to get them on. But all your feedback helps. Anytime that you watch, let me know how it's going. I know that my lighting is not that great, but I'm working on getting that fixed. Ty, if you're out there watching, jump on, buddy. So I see Christopher's watching. Hello, Maddox. How's married life? And my buddy Chris just got married, and he's going to be a lawyer soon. So we got to congratulate him on two fronts. But yeah, I love doing this show. I get to talk to all my friends. That's basically what this show is about. Dealing with my friends, talking with them, exploring their lives, what they do, how they live it. Some have written books. We've talked to Mark Dane Brooks, who's written books. We got Maddox here, who's gone through law school, and I think he's still got to complete the bar, but he's ready to go. I know he is. We've talked to my friend Donnie and Trishelle, who own their own businesses, as far as their fitness businesses are going. So it's really cool to see all my friends succeeding and everything. So just waiting on Tyshawn, and then we'll get started. What else do we got coming up this month? Let's see, I've got my friend Deos is coming on. Let me pull out my. Yeah, we got a busy. I got a busy couple of weeks here. There'll be a Dash of Life instead of Wednesday. It'll be Tuesday of this week, so we can get Deos on from my military days. He's a wonderful artist. He does great things. He's done tattoos. He's done art. You name it. If you're not friends with him on Facebook, he's got some amazing art out there. So we'll hopefully get him on soon, and then we'll go from there. But I got him coming. I've got my friend Carla, like I said, tomorrow night. Then we've got my friend Glory, who's a friend of my wife's and everything. and she's done some wonderful illustrations for books, and so we'll get her on. And here's Tyshawn, and we'll get started here in just a second. Here, yeah, Tyshawn running. He's on civilian time now. True, Maddox. True. So we'll get him as soon as we get it all squared away. No answer from the video guest. Make sure that your phone is turned long ways there, Ty. We'll get you on here in just a second. Shoot that request again, buddy. Civilian time. That's funny. I haven't heard civilian time in forever, Maddox. We'll try this again. Oh, I love. There it is. We're connecting. Ah.
Yeah.
Technology.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Connecting. Ah.
Good.
Sounds like we got a little lag.
Yeah, we got a little lag. I'm kind of double fisting it with the computer. So I'm gonna put it out there. I'm not an expert on the subject that we are having, but I do have experience in it. So I know there's going to be people who's going to be like, blah, blah, blah. So
that's what the fun thing about this is that's we're just talking, man. It's just to have a good time. I know you're like we talked about, you're interested in it. I'm interested in it. We played some games, and it's just fun to have two people that have just played it just to talk about it. And it's a way to celebrate book month too, because let's face it, these are some of the greatest books ever out there. So so what is some of your memories, or before playing now, what are some of the memories you have of playing as a kid?
I started playing, I would say, middle school time frame. Actually, I got introduced during the middle school time frame, but very little playing. And the first game I actually really played was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles version. Not too many people know about that, but that was it was setting in a Dark Horse comics instead of now. And I know Angel is probably going Dark Horse Ninja Turtles, but Dark Horse version of the Ninja Turtles, which was more brutal than the actual cartoon, and the actual was a DC Marvel affiliation to it. But I played a little bit of that, and then kind of got off of it until I joined the military, found a really good group, and it went from there.
Yeah. See, that I think most people think that when they hear of role-playing games, it's just straight up Dungeons and Dragons and that's it. But there are so many different games, role-playing games out there, from, like you said, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to superhero and military. You name it. There's so many out there, and I think that's what I like about the tabletop gaming and the RPGing is there's just so many different genres that you can jump into. I've played a Wild West one, which was really fun.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games. I showed you the link to it, and you was interested in G.I. Joe, and Link showed you exactly that and more. And not too many people know about that. But like I said, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was my first. Then there's a game called Rifts. Not too many people heard of it. Then you have the superheroes, of course, and Marvel and DC also had a turn into that. And then, of course, Dungeons and Dragons is my all-time favorite. There's kind of like different campaigns that go into that, and then you have a whole bunch of other stuff that's been published, and then you have homegrown ones, which we call homegrown ones. People had take the time to use the D&D system and create their own. And it's
I think that's what kind of got us started talking about this. Was I wanted to do some home brewing on some different characters in a different type of game. So what is some of the best aspects for you playing, no matter what it is, what are some of the best aspects of any role-playing game that you play?
The best aspects is getting a group together, which is the ultimate challenge, is getting a couple of people, at least having at least one person who doesn't know anything of it. And
Right.
at first, it's the hardest thing they ever do, ever create, ever get involved with. And you can see them progress and say, oh man, this is interesting. And they really get it. Just maybe the first game, maybe the second game, but they really get it. And sometimes that's the best aspect of the game. For me, socialization with other people, seeing the making of the minds and the imaginations built back in. It takes people who are older back to that kid aspect of imaginations and having fun, instead of like, oh, I have to go out to the bar, or I have to go out to the lake, or I have to buy a video game just to have fun. It's right there on the table.
Yeah, it really is. It's a live action video game for me too, and it's the imagination. It's using, you know, as a creative mind and seeing what everybody, and you said it. You have 6 or 7, you know, or 4 or 5, 6, 7 different people around the table, and you're trying to, you know, everybody wants to use their tactics, and I was playing in a game recently, and not too long ago, and I just started using some of the techniques that we used in ABD and all that. And I'm like, oh, this will work perfect. So it's fun to get that imagination and just be gone for a while. It's no different than reading a fantasy book or even a mystery thriller or whatever your game you're playing. It's no different than reading, just now you're the character that's in it. And I think that's the fun part for me, especially, is just the imagination and the socialization of games like that. Have you know, what is the hardest part then? Is it being the player, or is it being the DM, or what is it for you, the hardest part?
The hardest part, it's a double-edged sword, because being a player is hard for a certain amount of things, because you have to find out what you can do and what you can't do. But you having fun doing certain things. But also on that secondary turn, you have that it's difficult being a DM, because you have to account for everything. But it's fun developing and generally playing around with the players and challenging their brains and all that other stuff. Me being a DM, it was very frustrating for me that the players started killing my high-ranking guys like that, and I'm like, I gotta really make it challenging for them. Like, I thought it was challenging, but they came together and they destroyed a couple of my best characters, and I'm like, oh, time to up the ante.
I've never really DM'd. I mean, I've sat in and watched. I mean, I think for me that would be the hardest part, because, like you said, you're building your world. You've invested your time in these, you know, non-player characters, and you don't, you know, you want them to succeed. And I think I'm just writing a book about, you know, is what I'm doing now, is just, it's almost like DM, because you're building your world and you're like, how's this character going to react and things like that. But I think for me, the hardest part of playing as a character is your plan never works ever. No matter how much
that is true.
No matter how much you plan, it just never works, because those dice, let me tell you, I have put so many dice in jail because of rolls that I never ever want to see them again. But I mean, and it's not hard, and that's what's the best part about the game. But like, it's just, you plan, you know, you can spend 30 minutes planning, and in 5 seconds your whole plan is gone, boop, right out the window. But so if you, just want to ask you a question. If you could create your own game system, kind of like I was telling you, we were talking about that in G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
And what kind would you create for Tyshawn? What would be the ultimate RPG game?
I'm not that creative. I have a wild imagination in my brain, but I am not that creative. That's the hardest thing ever. There's like those are people who really have some type of mind.
Right.
Is creating that new world type thing. Um, Me, I can't do it. I definitely can't do
Yeah.
it. I try, and it's like I revert back to either D&D or Star Wars or something like that. I'll revert back to that and like I can't do it. But there's people who can do it, and they are the gifted.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. Have you ever watched Critical Role?
Yes, I watched that, and I am subscribed to it.
Yes, I am too. What a wonderful show,
Oh yeah,
man! It's just it's I mean, and I try and I started in a game and they were trying to. I'm like, I mean, I love what they do. Voice actors, they're playing, they're really into it, and I'm like, but don't try to create something they're doing. Let's just create our own.
exactly.
Do you ever run into that? Do you ever run into where people, I mean, I don't mind them having voices and things like that, but you're not going to recreate Critical Role at all.
Yeah,
But
actually, Critical Role is generally mainstreamed video type
yeah,
thing. If you ever been involved long term for D&D or any other role playing game, the DMs always try to give you some type of how the character that they're controlling is. I'm not going to mention his name. I'm going to keep him anonymous, but somebody knows, and I know they probably watching that they are the best DM, and this guy knows how to make you interact with one of his characters that
yeah.
he created, and that was the most ultimate fun that I ever had. Um, and
I think that's why I like Matt so much, is because that's what Matt Mercer is, the DM of Critical Role. If you all have never watched it,
yeah,
YouTube and Twitch, check it out. But I think that's what I love about Matt is he gets them to, you know, he's just amazing. And I mean, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if I could ever emulate that DM style, but that's how I would try anyways, to be
yeah,
very, to I want to be there with them, not just, all right, you're walking down a path and
yeah.
what are you going to do? I want to be part of it with them as well. And I think that's what makes that special. Is that how you envision yourself when you're doing it?
Try to. The hardest thing is trying to give you the different mixes of characters. You kind of have to prep yourself before you run that game on what characters that the playable characters, the PCs, are going to encounter. From the noblest of kings to the villains and all this other stuff, demons. Trying to come up with a demon voice is one of the worst things you can ever do because you got to go
Oh yeah.
groggy and stuff, probably gurgle some salt water or something like that. But you try your best. There are people who are actual voice actors. If you did, you do watch Critical Role. Some actors and actresses go on to their like Vin Diesel, like
Yeah.
he's a big RPG fan.
Yeah.
Another one is Henry Cavill, and you know that he,
Yeah. Yeah.
he admitted that he play and read the Witcher's games and novels. So that put generally D&D on a map, and
Oh yeah.
all of the novels that have been existence of fantasy.
All right.
But yeah, trying to emulate certain characters is the worst thing you can ever try to
Oh
do.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
you feel like a fool doing it, but you know the PCs kind of get
You
a
just,
gist of it.
yeah. What is your little trip? I don't want to say trip, but what is your favorite class? I mean, if you were going to go to, what is your favorite class to go to?
Favorite class would be a ranger. If I'm playing D&D, playing a ranger. Um, Hands down an elven ranger, slash, and I'm gonna put slash cross-classing it, assassin.
Yeah.
Um,
There you go.
but when it comes to Star Wars, which they do have an RPG, I would
Yep. Oh yeah.
usually
I've got all the books now.
play probably a bounty hunter.
Yeah. Yeah. I've played Star Wars. I don't. Everybody's got to jump on the Jedi train. I'm gonna go more the Han Solo, the smuggler,
The scoundrel.
the scoundrel.
Yeah.
You just get so much more role playing out of playing the scoundrel, and that my favorite class in Dungeons and Dragons, I will play it as much as I can, is a monk. I love the monk. I love, all the attributes that you get along with it. Stunning strike has got to be one of my most favorite things to use, and flurry of blows can never go wrong. But you get to play with the monk. You can play anybody. I mean, you can play from different continents, you probably could do that with every one of them. But I played a monkey monk, if you will, in my last campaign, and it was just fantastic. I got to use the tail, and fight from the trees and everything. So what a fantastic way to play a monk. So I love it. But yeah, as far as Star Wars, I'm always going to be a scoundrel. I don't want to be the Jedi. Everybody wants to wield the lightsaber and things like that. I want to get into. I just purchased some books on the Clone Wars, because I would like to delve into some Clone Wars stories that
Yeah.
I have in mind, and things like that, because there's just so much you can play with in the Clone Wars, I guess. But in any of the Star Wars, you can play with so much. But anything else that so you like to multi-class? Do you do that often?
I do it as often as I can, because and not too many people realize it. A ranger is like nature's killer, generally. Of course, he or she is like a hybrid of a druid and a fighter, but they stalk, they kill, they protect. That's what they do. Might as well double it up with an assassin. I love being an assassin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sneak around in the shadows, kill somebody, usually with one blow. It's the easiest thing ever.
Can't beat it. Yeah. I think I've only multi-classed once. I multi-classed my monk with a druid one time to kind of have some of the healing powers, because I think a monk would kind of jump in that druid in certain areas. So I did multi-class. I've never been. I'm not that I'm not a big fan of it. I was like, I just want to be a monk. I just want the monk. I just want the monk. But I do like watching some people multi-class, because you can get so much more. Again, it's all about role play. It's what you can put into your character.
Yeah.
And just play the game. So are you a big fan of backstory, or do you just kind of just let it just play out itself?
That's up to the DM. Sometimes, if you get a good game, a DM will make backstories of everyone. And it's might be slow a bit, because he or she has to individually get some backstory on a person. But backstory is more important than just building your class with stats and all other stuff, because that gives you a direction of the character.
Right.
My character, years ago, backstory, amnesia. Now I'm trying to find out what I used to be, and the more I progress and the more levels I get, I'm starting to get flashes of that while being in a group. And each and everybody who were part of the group had their own backstories, and we're all working for this one main goal, but we have our own backstories that we trying to find out our past individually.
Yeah.
So backstory is the biggest thing, real big thing.
I like it when my DM takes the backstories and builds it into, like you said, builds it in and kind of makes that part of your campaign. Each person somewhere along the line is going to confront something of their backstory, or a person comes in and becomes the big baddie or whatever. So I am a huge fan of backstory. I'm not writing 10 pages of backstory, but I have a some bullet points and things that are out there. So yeah, I love that. What do you think about the resurgence though of tabletop? It's like you said, we're talking about Henry Cavill. That's one reason I went out and bought the Witcher RPG game, was just because he talked about playing it and reading the books. And man, anytime I can find any RPG game system, I'm going to buy it. But yeah, it was because of him. I mean, so I see a resurgence. I see, like you said, Vin Diesel, Henry Cavill, I can never say his name, Joe Manganiello.
Yeah.
Just a lot of people out there, and they all have or some of them have shows that I watch and things like that. Do you find that that's a refreshing thing to bring these games back?
The refreshing thing was, ironically, was the show called Stranger Things, which
Yeah.
showed people, hey, this is D&D,
Yeah.
and they was little kids playing D&D, Demigorgon, which is a part of the D&D system, and people started saying, wait a minute, what is this Dungeons and Dragons thing,
Yeah.
and people are starting to pick up on it. Yes, and then they, of course, having the actors and actresses come out and say that they do it too. It built it up, and now people are probably hitting the comic book spots or Barnes and Noble, and they're going looking for these things like what's the intrigue of this whole thing, and which is a good thing. I mean, being a nerd nowadays is the best thing now.
That's the best thing. But you're right, man. I just it all boils down to, like you said, where you're sitting around with some friends, family, whatever it is. You're just getting. It's a great thing to just watch and see everybody interact and to play the games. And you're right, Stranger Things. I mean, I even went. I mean, got the collectible Stranger Things D&D pack and everything like that. So it's awesome. Do you see this going in? I mean, we're already on what, version 5 of Dungeons and Dragons, I think.
Yeah.
Do you see them going version 6? Do you see them just continuing on with this? Is it?
Yeah.
Or is this a fad thing that's going to fall out and we're just going back to the?
I would say it is going to keep going like it usually did. Not too many people know it was created in 1974. And I had to look that up, like how long. I was thinking 80s. No, it was the 70s. And version 5 came out, I want to say 2013, 2014. And don't ever speak the words of 4th edition, because I don't count that.
Fourth doesn't count.
But
doesn't count. Yeah.
5th edition, haven't dabbled into that. My favorite is 3.0 and 3.5, especially the Forgotten Realms campaigns. I haven't dabbled in 5th edition, but yeah, I think it's going to still go. It's still going strong, and especially with high profile people playing it now, it's making more people wanting to invest in it. So I'll say thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for publishing these things. But yeah, it's going to keep going.
What do you think about Pathfinder?
Pathfinder is good. I looked at that, but not my cup of tea also. But
I think it took AD&D. It took when we had Advanced Dungeons and Dragons there for a while. It just took its concept and they just ran with it on Pathfinder. That's the way I see it. Some of the things. I played 3.5 a lot. I played 5. 5's a little bit easier for people who are really brand new into it. 5's a lot easier for people to join in. But 3.5 was just like you said, Forgotten Realms. What a great system! You have so much to play with there. I mean, you can go, again. It's like we talked about. I think that's how the homebrews even started, or the homegrowns. It just took off from Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about that, do you homebrew or homegrow anything as far out there, or yours just strictly straight up?
It's a tweaked version of 3.0, 3.5. Kind of make the system a little bit easier for everybody to get into, but you don't have to homebrew Forgotten Realms campaign. It's self-explanatory on that, because generally Forgotten Realms is more of a anything that can happen can happen. Good races can be bad races can be good. somebody, depending on the situation of their past or the present, makes them maybe the villain of the future or the hero of the future. Mortals can be gods, gods can be mortals. It's all over the place, but it's there. It's perfect.
Yeah. I want to play someday, and I'm going to. Like you talked about, good evil races can be good, bad. I want to play a good Minotaur. I just want to play a good guy Minotaur for one game. Just see how it goes. Let it play itself out. They don't always have to be bad guys. But what's your favorite monster? What is it that you, if you're in a game, you definitely got to have that monster to have your people face?
Face and encounter. Facing will be something from the undead category for facing. Maybe a lich, maybe a death knight, because you don't know how to handle them, or you think you know how to handle them, but you don't know how powerful they are. And it gives you some type of element like, oh, I think I killed it, but it comes back and I still have to hunt it down, and I know what I have to do, but I have to find what I have to do, that type of thing. But that's for like skirmishing encounters or something like that. But generally, like interacting, I will throw in something like a polymorphed dragon who is posing as a mortal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've always wanted, and I know they did a campaign book on it, but giants are my favorite. I mean, just taking down a storm giant or a frost giant, and or like that's what I would. That's who, if I ever do a mind. Yeah, that's a good one. Burn mind flares. Yeah, I don't want to mess with those. No way.
Shut up, Burn.
But
Shut up, Burn.
I want my big baddie to be a big baddie. You know what I mean? The dragons are. I love dragons. Don't get me wrong, and you can have a good campaign, but I want something where you have to think and you have to get in there and just really, think yourself as Thor and Loki going in and taking on the frost giants. That's what I want. And I mean, I've loved all the campaigns I've been in. We've had some really good big baddies, but I just think, man, if you had to take on a clan of giants, how scary and would that be? I mean, how hard would that campaign be just to take on? So I don't know. I mean, giants always been my favorite because I'm a short guy and
built like a
most people
dwarf.
think I'd be a hobbit, halfling or dwarf in my game, but no, that's awesome. So, are you currently in any games right now? Are you playing in anything current, or just kind of waiting it out? Or
I've been out for a while. Been hitting the ideas in the brain. You got these multiple video games that come out, and it creates the flowing of the juices, and I have to write things down. But really haven't ran a campaign or even was involved in a campaign for a long time. Yeah, I'm eventually going to get back into it, but only time will tell.
Yeah. Well, I definitely will invite you to one if you would like to come and sit down and play with us, because we're going to probably here in probably a month or so. I've been working on one. I talked about my DM, so I'm going to DM. I'm going to try, but if you want to come in, be great. We can even do a Star Wars one too if you want. It's been a while since I played as well, so I get the itch, the nerve to jump right back in it as it goes along. So we're talking about some other things here in a minute, but I want to get to this giveaway of the awesome Texas Roadhouse gift card that I got. $25 tonight, gift card to Texas Roadhouse. You have to be a live viewer, so in the comment section, just put steak. Put steak in the comments, and I will draw a winner at the end of the show tonight. So steak is the key word. So we talked about some other thing. We talked about the RPGs. Are there any of the tabletop games that you like? There's like what is it, Munchkin and Catan or Settlers of Catan. Is there any of those things that you like that you've dabbled in or anything like that?
Haven't tried that. I did try, but it was online. An online group with an anime, which was Neon Genesis Evangelion, if you ever heard of that.
Yeah.
Somebody ran that as a campaign, and you are one of the chosen children, and you pilot a bleeding robot. And I didn't do too good, but
Yeah.
it was a very interesting game because I've always been a fan of that anime series.
Yeah.
And then I seen another one which was Dragon Ball Z based. Looked at it, but didn't really get involved with it. So those are only two that I really, outside of those main ones, dabbled in.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I played a lot of games. I just think that the minds out there that create these games, I'm like, I wish I had some of the creativity. Like, I played Munchkin a few times. It's kind of like a Dragons game, but it's with cards and things like that. Um, uh, Magic the Gathering, anything like that?
Now, to
Never.
me, those card games are kind of limiting, and I
Yeah.
don't like limited stuff. I like the open-mindedness of everything instead of, oh, I'm gonna just throw a card and this is the creature or this is the hero, and I can't wrap myself around that. For some reason, it doesn't interest me. So
It seems hard to me, and I don't know why. It just seems very difficult for me to even, to learn you got to do this card, turn this way. I mean, I like watching some of the people play it, but it was just, yeah, you're right. Like you say, it make you go broke because you're wanting this card or this card or this card. But yeah, it just seems so difficult. Uh, so my wife walked in. I got to see. Are you okay?
Okay.
Okay. She's like, I don't know if I'm getting the what. No, she's fine. She was just listening to us.
how's
But yeah, I enjoy table, but I think just some of them are so hard now. Like, it's not like Monopoly or Sorry or Trouble. You're just they just, some of the rules are like, wow. I don't know if I can handle that.
Yeah.
But yeah. I would like to play. And we're back to RPGs. There's I found one that's like old noir, like the old detective stuff.
Yeah.
Noir, like the 1930s detectives. That, I think that would be. I've got it, and I've been reading up on it, so I think I'm gonna try one of those as well. But like I said, there's just so many fantastic RPGs out there that people have come up with, or that that Wizards of the Coast have given us, and I find it's totally amazing, and I'm glad, like we talked about, I'm glad the Resurgence has come up and stuff like that. So anybody that's out there watching, if you wanted to get in a game, we'll get something going here. Feel free to chime in, like, and on the comments and say, hey, I'm in, or something. We'll make it just at one shot where we all gather around, just have a good old time and just play a game. Are you down with that, Ty?
I'm down with it.
All right. So like I said, I've only seen one person. You gotta mention the word steak in the comments to get a Texas Roadhouse gift card for $25. So throw it in there. So what's the future for Ty? I mean, I know we're working. Are you working at OU still?
Yep.
At the OU hospital.
Mm-hmm.
What's the future for us there?
Their doctors are still studying, still researching, and a lot of people don't like that idea or like that situation, but
Yeah.
because if you talk about coronavirus and all this other stuff, it becomes too political. But we have really great people. OU is ran by doctors, and they are a different entity from everybody else, and they are researching around the clock on what's going on. And I love my job because I get to interact with people. I see them come in very hurt, very sick, and leaving healthy. And that's the best thing that anybody can ever ask. I work for a great team, and I can still push on with this job. I enjoy every minute of it.
That's a foreseeable future job
Oh,
right there. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing what you're doing and getting away from the stuff that we were in not too long ago. But no, man, I've known you for 20 some odd years, and it's just great.
yeah,
Like I
a
said,
lot of years.
we ended up going, yeah, we ended up going to the same college together. So it was cool to see you. It's cool to see some people I knew in college and have a good time.
Between you and Dustin Mall, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm glad you're doing good at OU. What else is the future for Ty? What else you got going on in the future for yourself?
Oh, good question. Maybe a little bit of travel. Going to the East Coast this next 2 weeks. To see family, of course. Try to talk my mom into retiring the second time, because she needs to retire.
Yeah.
It depends on if she wants to retire. But other than that, trying to get involved more with family. Come this fall, I'm gonna push on with college and try to push on to be in a PA. Hopefully I can do it, but I know I can, but
you can.
hopefully we don't have the situation of COVID or something else pop up, which closes everything down again. So that kind of pushed me back a year, and we'll see what else I can come up with.
Well, that's awesome, my friend. Well, we're going to do another show down the road. I promise you. I just wanted to get hit the top of the cake, if you will. We'll get into the big old thick stuff. Maybe we'll be able to do a live show or something where we're doing an actual game or something.
Yeah.
But I'd love to talk. I'd love to talk to you again down the road. It's a pleasure to see you again, my friend. I miss D'Lo Brown.
You still remember
that?
I
miss the D'Lo. Oh yeah, that was coming to work in the guard mount. I get some D'Lo.
Hey, we all had great. So we all had names. We all had the personality. So.
But it's a pleasure to see you again, my friend. You take care of yourself. Like I said, we'll get a one shot or something. Figure it out down the road. Go see your family. Have a good time on the East Coast. I know it's New York, right? Is that where you're heading to?
Yeah, I'm headed to Virginia, then New York. So.
All right, very nice. I'm hoping all this is settled down so I can actually get to New York in October timeframe. You kind of know what's going on there.
Yeah.
The Comic-Con and everything. So I'm hoping this is all. If not this year, I'm hoping to get next year when and everything's. Maybe a semblance of normalcy. So
if you need a tour guide, I'm the man for it. I know the area. So.
All right. Well, hey, pleasure again talking to you. We'll get down and do another show. As always, good talk to you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bud? I
will too.
All right, bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tyshawn Smith. We had a great talk about RPG. Yeah, we did. We had a great talk about RPGs and things like that. If you've never played, it's not just about just rolling some dice. It's actually having some fun with friends. You actually get to interact. It's the camaraderie. It's the thinking. It's everything on there. There's so many different games out there for you to play. Like I said, just Dungeons and Dragons is not the only one. Find something that's your favorite. Star Wars, Pathfinder. There's just so many Starfinders or space ones. There's so many of them out there, but I highly suggest try it once. You'll have fun. If you haven't watched any of, there's some wonderful YouTube shows called Critical Role that they show you how to play it. It's wonderful. Check those out. Here, I'm giving y'all one last chance. If you're still watching, put in steak. Put in the word steak in the comment section, and you'll get a chance to win a $25 gift card to Texas Roadhouse. I'm going to put it for about 30 more seconds, so get your shot in there. So I appreciate everybody coming out. I love doing these shows. You guys are awesome to support me and support all the guests that come on. I love the interaction that you guys have with us. It just makes doing this show fun. It's all about just reaching out to my friends and being able to speak with them. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that, brother. It's all about just talking and just having a good time. So, as I said, tomorrow I've got a really special show with a friend, Carla, from school. We're going to be talking about some issues that have come up not only in my circle of friends, but in her circle of friends as well. So if you want us to come around tomorrow night, we've got it's not going to be a very long show, but it's just we're trying to build something to help people out in times of need and in crisis. So Carla and I got together, uh, uh, and we've decided that we're going to try to get some other people involved. So if you want to, feel free to watch, and if you have something that you want to help us out with, jump in there. I know I've got a lot of smart friends out there, a lot of helpful friends that want to help people out. So I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Remember what I say: take care of one another, love one another, and I'll see you next time.